All right, this guy left Temple, and he has jumped to the Big 12. There's no doubt about whether or not he's ready because his resume shouts out that he is. And we're joined now with the Ring Central hotline, the head coach of Baylor. That's Matt Rhule. Ring Central providing easy-to-use cloud phone solutions for your workforce and business communications made simple. For more information, go to ringcentral.com. Coach, how are you today, bud? What's happening?
Oh, I'm great. I'm happy to be here at Baylor and happy to be on the phone with you guys.
No, it's good to have Tika's out. I know he would have enjoyed
Oh,
speaking
okay.
to you as well, but it's okay. I have followed your path. I was saying before, Coach, there's certain schools, and I do St. John's basketball, and we're the same age. And you were born in New York City, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Lived there for a long time.
I got you. So are you a basketball fan by chance at all or no?
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
so you know the days with Chris Mullin back in the 80s, Final Four, Patrick Ewing, Georgetown. You know what St. John's was. And you know what they've turned into over the years. There's a decay there that Chris is trying to revive as the head coach. There are certain jobs, and I say that because I think this applied to you at Temple on some level. There are certain jobs that are inherently tough, and I think Temple certainly was one of them. How did you fix, and I say this with all due respect, the mess that was Temple football? How did you fix this?
Well, I think that some good men came before me, and Al Gold and Steve Adagio. But when I got there, we went from 2-10 to 6-6 to two back-to-back 10-win seasons, and we did it by just spending all of our time trying to develop players. We didn't panic if we lost a game. We didn't panic at the score early on. We just kept trying to get the players better, kept trying to grow them up, and then eventually we looked up and we had a bunch of seniors and juniors out there running around that were winning a lot of football games. They were tough, they were strong, they were smart, they all had their degree. And so I just think it was the process of developing players, not trying to rely on some fancy offense or fancy defense, just trying to develop kids into either NFL players or if they weren't going to play in the NFL, guys who were really, really easy to hire in their job. They knew how to work, they knew how to produce. And so, it was a hard road, but it was a fun road, and I think that now Temple's built to last because we did it that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, what is the first brick that you even plant here, so to speak? Because when it's that now, Baylor's, and we'll certainly get to Baylor, but I'm just always intrigued. And we had PJ Fleck on, I don't know, a couple weeks or so ago, whatever it was, and he's done something similar at Western Michigan, and he's going to have a job. And he already has a million offers as well. He's done a great job, but I'm always curious how. When something's so daunting, like when you look these kids in the eyes for the first time in that meeting room, I mean, what do you project? What do you say? Because they're so used to losing.
Yeah, I think you just have to give them a really bright vision of the future. That hey, this is where we're going to end up. We're going to be champions. We're going to do great things. We're going to get an education. We're going to help you go play pro football if that's what you're meant to do. All these great things are in the future, but. It starts by just day by day, laying brick by brick, and not focusing on the outcome, just focusing on the process of each day, trying to do what you're supposed to do. And that's the hardest part early on is getting people to buy into that process. Getting people to not question why are we doing this, why are we doing that. And so I think you have to do a great job of selling it. You have to brand it. You have to market it. And we did that at Temple, and then now as we get started at Baylor, we're going to do the same thing.
Yeah,
this is our process.
I'm sorry, Coach. Matt Rhule with us here on Tiki and Tierney, new head coach at Baylor, and it's obviously very different. The fan engagement at Baylor is through the roof. The facilities are off the chain. I mean, it's great. It's a next-level job for you. There's no doubt. We share something else in common aside from being born and raised in New York, and I know that you went to State College. You played high school ball and then eventually Penn State there. I stayed in New York my whole childhood, but the other similarity is that I married a woman from Dallas, so I know what it's like to go in there, with baggy jeans and not wearing cowboy boots and the backward hats and everybody looking at you like, who the hell's this guy from Brooklyn? So how do you infiltrate? This is an important question for you, Coach, because this very well might determine how well you do. How do you infiltrate the politics and all the stuff that goes with Texas high school football to get the kids you need to win?
Well, I think the first thing I did was, I hired David Wetzel, who was the president of the High School Coaches Association, who's a Baylor grad, and a really, really good football coach and good man. And that was just the start. And we're going to do that, with some of the different roles in our program here with some guys from the Texas high school football ranks, because it's the best that there is in the country, and they do a great job with their players. But I think the other part is just trying to be genuine, build relationships, invite people to come here, spend time with people, and at the end of the day, we're about the same things. We're about football and we're about helping kids. And so once people usually get to know that, then usually they appreciate our program and and the way that we do things.
Matt, are you ready? And I'm not even sure you can even prepare for this until you actually do it. But are you probably willing is the better word to insert there to do the the banquets and all the interaction with the boosters. I mean, let's face it. I've watched Temple play. Matter of fact, not that you care about. I bet a few times on Temple legally. And by the way, you won me a few bucks, Coach. So thank you, pal. I appreciate that, Matt. The kids get Christmas gifts this year. But my point is that I've watched you play, and with all due respect again to the Owls, you see a lot of empty seats at the Link. It's a different level of engagement. Baylor's going to be packed to the rafters. People with big money that want you and your time everywhere you turn. How do you prioritize what's really important versus what's important, but you can't allow getting in the way of building the foundation for the program?
Well, I can't. I come here eyes wide open and arms wide open, really knowing that all the things that come along with being the head coach at Baylor, and I'm excited about it. I'm a person that likes relationships. I like meeting people, and I'm a person that I'm as competitive as anyone I know. I mean, I came here to compete at the highest level, and so all the pressure that comes along with it, all the demands that comes along with it, that's what I want. I don't want to succeed. In a place where it's not expected. I wanted to come here and go fight and compete for championships and all the things that comes along with that.
Matt, when did you know? I love asking young athletes this that are in the league, whether it's the NFL, the NBA, whatever it is. Chris Bryant for baseball. It doesn't matter the person or the sport. But I love asking young players when they made it, when they really knew in their heart. Not that they wanted to be a major leaguer, or because we all wanted to do that when we were kids or playing the NFL, but when they actually thought that they could. I do think it's a little different for a coach because it's not a physical limitation thing. And while you were a good player, you weren't a great player. When did Matt Rhule know this is what I'm doing and this is the path I'm going down? What age?
Well, when I was 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a coach. My dad's a coach. My uncle's in the High School Coaches Hall of Fame, and I wanted to be a college head coach. That was always my dream. I think I knew. I kind of bounced around. I'd gone to Temple. I knew, hey, I can do this, for the rest of my life. When I got to the New York Giants, and I'm sitting in my first staff meeting with Tom Coughlin and Kevin Gilbride Sr. and all these, Perry Fuel, all these coaches that I read about or would see on TV, and I'm sitting there now at the table with those guys. And it was at that point I realized, hey, I'm hopefully going to be able to do this for the long haul, and I think I could make a long-term career out of it and hopefully be a head coach.
Nice. Matt Rhule with us here, Tiki Tierney, new head coach at Baylor. Now, Coach, when you go on a big interview, and we've all had these, at certain jobs and I think this applies to radio and TV, maybe not as much money as you get at Baylor, but certainly an element of being in the public eye, where you have an interview, and I think people assume that the person being interviewed is the one being asked all of the questions, but I think you and I both know it's not that way. So I imagine that in your moment of most raw honesty, you had to look some very important people at Baylor in the eye and say, okay, how do we restore the image that is undeniably taken a hit, and we all know what I'm referring to? That had to be pretty important for you to make sure that you knew that this was a salvageable situation in terms of perception, because off the field, it's been a bad couple of years for Baylor. How do you fix that? How did you address that?
Well, I think I knew that two things. Number one, I knew that I didn't know I don't know what's really going to happen down the road. I don't really know the details. And you can't find that out really in an interview because no one really knows what's coming down the pike or what's going to be said. So I just had to feel really comfortable with the people that were interviewing me. I had to feel really comfortable that their hearts were in the right place. Even if they couldn't give me answers, that they understood the issues and they understood, that they probably had the same concerns. But most importantly, that they were going to stand by and allow me to try to develop and help the kids. Because at the end of the day, this is about the players and helping them move forward. And so I felt great about it. I thought their questions to me and my questions to them were always had the players' best interest at heart. So as I made the decision to come, I made a decision that when I got here, I was going to be unbelievably positive. I obviously acknowledge what's happened in the past, but have all of my attention and all of my thoughts and everything I talk about with the kids about the future and moving forward.
Was that as high up on your priority list as much as I imagine it to be? Because let's face it, you get to this level, you're going to make money. The facilities are sweet, as we said. Contractually, things will be worked out with your agent. That stuff's going to be taken care of. But the image repair, was that first, second, was that very, very important to you? Because I don't imagine how it couldn't be.
that's why I wanted to come. I had other opportunities. I could have stayed at a great job at Temple. I had some other people offer me, some opportunities. But at the end of the day, I'm a guy that likes fixing things. I'm a guy that when I walked into Temple, we had some not just on the field struggles, but some off the field struggles as well. And now that program's a tremendous source of pride for the players and for the people at Temple. So I felt like I was meant to come here and help in that process. It's not me, but I felt like I was helped to come here and meant assist in the process of restoring the pride, to the kids on the team and to the people around the program. And so, to me, that was as much the mission as it is the football. The football, as you said, the helmets are the same everywhere. Everyone's got shiny uniforms in stadiums.
Yeah.
But this, to me, was a job that had just a little bit something greater purpose to it.
Hey, Matt, do me a favor before I let you go, and make this pact for my audience and to my audience as well. Just promise us as much as you got to get. The guys who run the 4-3 whatevers and, perimeter stuff and guys who can get in the end zone. Matt, please, find some defenders. Watching the Big 12 every Saturday, it's 50-48 is great if you bet the over. But come on, bring some defense to the conference, Coach, will you?
Yeah, you know what? We were third in the country in defense at Temple.
I know.
Defensive coaches, and even if there's no one in the Big 12 even in the top 50 in defense. So, as I told the kids, hey, we just got to get to 49. If we get to 49, that'll be number 49 in the country. That'll be a tremendous accomplishment. We'll just keep going from there. But we're going to try to be the NFL franchise, the Alabama of the Big 12. That's how we're going to try to build it. It'll take some time, but that's the vision, and that's the end goal for us.
Well, listen, Matt, when you go from Temple to a school like Baylor or a conference like the Big 12, you have truly earned it. I got to run. I know you do as well. Merry Christmas to you, Coach, and congrats on an incredible opportunity. We're rooting for you. I think you did a great job with the Owls. I mean that.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and everyone out there as well.
You got it. There he is, new head coach at Baylor.